I love using cameras in this form factor because it takes me back to a time when I was just starting out and how easy these cameras were to load and just have fun with. Now, I haven't used this one in a little while and I've really missed its simplicity. There's little to no cables, it's got a great fast lens, and it's got a decent optical viewfinder, which is what preempted this. This is my modern spin on a long-forgotten form factor. This form factor. It's my Pocket OG dressed up as a Super 16mm version of this Canon 514 XL. This is a super simple build that I've put together from my spare parts bin. Now, if we discount the Excelsius cage and the camera media, which I already own, this would cost you less than $300 used. And that includes buying the OG body. Mine costs less than €100 here in France, so there are bargains out there if you look around. Now, I'm just using this as a staging base so that you can see what I'm going to do and how I build it up from the ground. So the first piece I have here is a spare handle from a Crane 3 gimbal. It's great because it has mounting points on the bottom, a retractable locking pin at the top, and a nice rubber hand grip. It is a little bit big for the build, but it's what I have on hand, and it cost me like $5 at a swap meet a few years ago. To this, I can mount the Pocket OG in the Excelsius cage, but first we have to remove the screen protector locating screw. I'll have a separate review on the Excelsius cage coming soon, but for now, if you have any questions before you buy into this system, just drop them in the comments below and I'll answer you there. Okay, up top, I've used a 3-inch low-profile NATO rail, which I'll attach the EVF to in a minute, because first we're going to add this power plate from Axoon, which actually came for free with my iPad cage. Now, because it's designed to power an iPad as a camera monitor, it comes equipped with a ton of power output options. On this build though, I'm going to use the DC output barrel connector to power the camera with a newer F970 battery. I love these batteries because they are inexpensive and you can power a camera like this for days. Alright, let's pop on a lens. For this project, we're going to be shooting with this Micro Four Thirds 25mm 7 Artisans f1.8 lens. It's not quite a pancake lens, but for me, I would consider it to be one when I compare it to my PL glass. The focus and iris controls are very smooth and it basically weighs nothing. It's got a super short focus throw, which is okay because even at f1.8 on this sensor, when a subject is about 4 to 6 feet from the camera, we still retain a lot of depth of field. So it's pretty hard to miss focus. But up close between 18cm and 3 feet, the depth of field is very shallow and at certain distances can render some nice swirly bokeh when wide open. Together, the OG and this lens at a f1.8 aperture produce a very bright, clean yet nostalgic look, which is pretty cool considering this lens only cost around $30 on the used market. That in itself leaves a lot of spare coin left over to pick up a good ND and a step-up ring, which you will need. I'm using one of my spare step-up rings from BMPCC, which will convert the 46mm front diameter to 82mm of the 3-to-7 stop magnetic variable ND from Freewell. What I like about the V2ND is that they are widely available on the used market. The 82mm version can pretty much cover most mirrorless lenses, and they are very neutral across the entire ND range. I've tested it a bit with my other Blackmagic Design OG cameras, and I've been very happy with the results. But this Tiffin version is a lot better because it was designed for these Fairchild sensors, but it cost $700, and they're very hard to find used. If you have one and you plan on continuing to shoot with these older cameras, don't sell it, they are virtually irreplaceable. But for a budget Super 16 build like this, I can't recommend the Tiffin filter because of its cost and its lack of versatility. This V2 is like 95% as good and it's 1/6 the cost new, and it's super easy to add and remove as it magnetically pops on and off. Simple. But let's get to the most important part of the build, the EVF. Because on a build like this, for shooting outdoors, the old pocket screen is, it's useless. This is a super old EVF by Cine. It's a 1080p Full HD 8-bit EVF with both HDMI and SDI, signal cross conversion and SDI loop out, and has all the false color, focus assist, anamorphic D-squeeze goodness that you could ever need for a setup like this. And it's easy to get focus with, it's bright and has stacks of plus and minus diopter correction. Back in the day, these sold for a whopping amount of money, but today you can get them for pennies on the dollar. The kit I bought used that sat in my drawer up until recently came with D-tap cables, the loop, batteries, Sony, Canon and Nikon interchangeable battery plates, and this articulating EVF mounting system from Zacuto. But I'm not using the arm on this build. I just want to keep it simple. So I'm just going to add a NATO rail clamp here and connect all the cables. Let's add this Viltrox MPF battery to get it all powered up. As you can see, it boots up pretty quick, even for today's standards. Plus, it doesn't consume that much power. I've recently just done another shoot with this camera configuration, exactly like this, and this single battery got me through 3 days of sporadic filming. As with any SD card camera, I'm using Angelbird 512GB V90 SD cards because they allow me to record in RAW without dropping frames. They provide extremely long run times, and afterwards they allow me to offload the footage super fast, which for me is really important. If you're wondering why there's no audio, mic, or timecode generator, well, that's because the project doesn't require it. That's absolutely cleared by the producer, so this is all the camera needs to be and nothing more. And with that, the camera is all rigged. I'm pretty happy with it, and in comparison to the ergonomics and the handling of my older Super 8mm cameras, it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. The main thing is that it forces you to use the camera in the same way, which can really help when you're planning on mimicking archival footage and camera movement, or just going for that nostalgic look. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more videos about how I build cameras for jobs, or you'd just like to share your setups, let me know in the comments below.
Swipe up, tag your friends, like and subscribe, comment below.